Hey, oh my god, I look so disheveled. Hey, house guests, welcome to today's Big Brother 27 updates and spoilers. I hope you're all having a happy Friday today. I know our house guests of the day, we have Thomas Lewis, we have mother-daughter Danielle Rawlings and Ryder, and we have Caven Coy. Thank you all so much for the support. We could not do this without you, and we appreciate you all so much. So thank you again. And if you guys want to be house guests of the day, send us an email to madrosed@gmail.com, and we will get you on the list. Just make sure you put house guest of the day in the subject line. Yay! TGIF, that's right, Christine. Oh, and she's making silly geese right now. Love it. What's up, Eric Barter, Asher, Dawn, Amelia? How's everybody doing today? I feel like we say this all the time, right? But this show is a freaking roller coaster. Hey, Maria. Oh my God, Asher, thank you so much for the super chat. You are so incredibly generous. And we really, really appreciate it. Very, very cool. I don't know what I'm supposed to do with that.
It's spam.
Okay. You want to just hang it up?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. All right, here we are. And I know everyone's like, oh my God, a landline. It's technically not a landline. It's an internet phone, but it's like a house phone. You know what I mean? But all right, now we can start the big meeting now. So last night was eviction night. And Jimmy, Kelly, and Riley were up on the block. Riley won the blockbuster. So that means we had Jimmy versus Kelly for the vote. So Rachel, as we saw, was really trying to get those votes for Jimmy at the very last minute. She even convinced Ashley in the diary room hallway to vote to keep Jimmy. And we saw Ashley went through with it. She voted to keep Jimmy. She voted to evict Kelly. But then after she told Will what she had done, she tried to run back into the diary room and change her vote. And Julie was like, no, 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 no. That's the first time we've ever seen that happen. So that was wild. But as Julie said, the first vote is the one that counts. So Ashley did, in fact, vote to evict Kelly. And we saw Jimmy was evicted by a vote of 9-2, the two being Rachel and Ashley. Is Mickey going to be pissed at Ashley now? How many times did we see Mickey tell Ashley, if, lines are going to be drawn with this vote, and if you vote for Kelly to go and you vote to keep Jimmy, that's going to show me where you stand. Ah! Oh my goodness, Asher. Thank you so much. Oh my God, 2 gigantic super chats. Thank you so much. That is so, so generous of you. Oh my goodness. Amelia Bedelia is looking for a sugar daddy. Oh my God. Okay, so the feeds were down for a very, very long time after the episode. We know that the HOH competition did not take that long because it was the knockout comp. It took, I think one of the house guests was saying it was the shortest one we've ever had. It probably took 35 minutes, maybe less. So the feeds were down unnecessarily. But Hamster Watch was able to spill the tea long before the feeds came back. We love Hamster Watch. Dingo is one of the OGs. She's amazing. So make sure you check out hamsterwatch.com. But she let us know that Ava won HOH. Oh my God. That's interesting, right? Especially with the way that Ava's been navigating this game in the last few days. I'm not gonna lie, I was a little bit nervous when I saw that Ava won HOH. But this is her chance to redeem herself after last week, so don't blow it. All right. So the feeds came back right around midnight, Big Brother time. And it was confirmed Ava won HOH. And it's also confirmed she's not doing one-on-ones with everyone. You know how the HOH will traditionally have all these long ass conversations with everybody? She's not doing that. She said, I don't think so. If I request a one-on-one with someone, that's fine. But I'm not just gonna talk to everybody because she already knows what she wants to do. And she's not gonna try and get swayed by everybody else trying to push their own agendas. So when the feeds came back, Vince and Rachel are chatting in the wine room. And again, Vince is saying, like, I want to start over with you. Like, I hope you'll give me another chance. He seems to be apologizing for something. Oh my God, Asher. Thank you. He's apologizing for something. It was not clear at the time what he was apologizing for. But we do find out later that during the knockout competition, Vince put Ashley and Rachel up against each other. So he's definitely like trying to explain himself to Rachel, trying to explain why he did that. And he's like, you know what? I don't want me or you to leave anytime soon, at least for a few more weeks. I'm sure Vince would love for Rachel to be evicted. But he tells her, like, I don't want to play the middle. I don't want to be a flip-flopper. And Rachel's like, well, if you want to build trust with me, just don't lie to me. Be honest with me. So that was that, because then it was time for Ava to get her HOH room. Oh my God, Laura, thank you so much for the super chat. Oh my God, I'm going to come back to you guys. Stop. Oh my God, it's too much. It's too much. I'm going to come back to the super chats at the end, but you guys are like blowing my mind right now. This is insane. So Asher, I was going to say Asher gets his HOH room. Ava gets her HOH room, and she's like, there's a new sheriff in town. There certainly is. She got pictures of her with her boyfriend. They look like such a cute couple. And her letter was also from her boyfriend Caleb, and it was very cute, very sweet. And he was like, I'm not going to get too sappy in this letter because I want you to keep your focus and don't trust anyone. Oh, so shortly after reading her letter, Ava's like, okay, bye everyone. Time for you to go. She kicks them out of her room. Remember the other day she was saying no game talk after midnight? That's not 100% true. She still had some game talk after midnight, but she doesn't want everyone thinking that's like a thing that's going to happen. So Rachel did hang back for a quick chat with Ava after everybody left. And Ava reveals she would like to nominate Vinny, Zach, and Keanu. Oh my God. Never dissed, baby girl. Never dissed. No, this is exciting. It feels like a real power shift, right? I do think maybe she should put up somebody else besides Keanu, because I think she could potentially build with Keanu. But I'm liking where this is going. It's very, very exciting. So Ava, she's like planning out what she's going to say at the nomination ceremony. And she's going to say something along the lines of, Keanu, you're the only person that I've yelled at in here. You're on the block, right? So, I mean, we've seen their relationship is not great. So, I mean, it's self-explanatory. Then she's working on her thing for Vince. Vinny the Lip Pinero. I have heard her call Vince the Lip to his face before. I love you, brother, but your hands are in so many pots. We should call you the gardener. And Rachel was like cracking up about this. She was living. And then for Zach, this one needed a little work, but she said, Zach, listen, baby, I love you. I hear you're going around shaking like a leaf now that I'm HOH. I thought you trusted me. Obviously, you don't. And then she said, shaking like a leaf again. And she's like, be careful your nipples don't fall off. What? She acknowledges that one. It still needs a little work. She can workshop that a bit, but she is planning on putting on a bit of a show. And I have to also say, with the feeds not coming back until midnight last night, we missed so much from the end of the episode up until that point. Like a lot. Who know? I don't know. I guess Zach was running around being all nervous and worried. And of course, Vince was freaking out. But Rachel is just so excited for Ava. She's so excited that someone that she can trust is HOH this week. And she says she's so happy for Ava. So Ava, she says, hopefully by keeping Kelly, Riley, and Catherine off the block this week, she really wants to see if she can start building something with them, maybe working with them moving forward. It does sound like at that time she was considering Catherine as a replacement nominee, but Ava ideally would like these nominations to stick. She wants Zach, Vince, and Keanu to stay up there. And she's also going to say at the ceremony, if anyone has a problem with these nominees, they can be the renom after the veto. Ooh! It's also worth mentioning, let's keep in mind, Zach still has his secret power from night one. He is able to buy himself safety with his $10,000. So Ava could be getting $10,000 this week. The way it works, he can use this when he's on the block, and he can use it up until after the veto ceremony. So he can wait and see, like, maybe he'll win the veto, or maybe somebody uses the veto on him, and then he can decide, I want to buy my safety. Ava is not allowed to refuse it, so she gets the $10,000, and then she has to put up somebody else in his place. So chances are, unless Zach is feeling super confident and decides not to use his power, chances are Zach will be coming off the block in some way this week. I'm so curious if his allies are going to be pissed at him that he kept this power a secret. Or is that only reserved for Mickey? I don't know. But it should be interesting. Ava also tells Rachel, you are safe this week. You can relax. Keep in mind they have a final 2 deal. So she tells Rachel, focus on building your relationships this week. You're good. You're all good. So a little later, Rachel and Ashley are chatting outside. And Rachel is telling her about the conversation that she had earlier with Vince, where he was like apologizing and saying he wanted to start over. And she's like, yep, he was crying again. He always cries when he talks to me. So Ashley is like, oh, I wonder if he was like feeling guilty or whatever. Ashley is claiming that she voted for Jimmy to go. She's like, he didn't have the votes to stay. Why would I vote for him to stay? So she says she thinks someone else voted for Jimmy to stay to try to set her up. So Ashley's like, what if it's Vince? Maybe that's why he's freaking out. And she says, Vince also picked us to go up against each other in the knockout HOH competition. Maybe he's trying to make it look like we're a duo. He's trying to frame me for this vote. And Rachel's like, wait, you didn't vote for Jimmy? Like, oh my God, they're good. Like, they tried to frame you like that. Is she actually believing this? We're going to get into that. But Rachel says, in other news, we really have to keep Keanu this week because we're going to be in trouble if he goes. They figure Keanu could be a number for them down the line. He can win competitions for them. So they are not ready to cut Keanu loose at this point. Rachel also brings up she's hoping that they're going to be able to get back in Mickey's good graces, maybe work with her again. But Ashley's like, I don't know. It seems like Mickey thinks that I voted to keep Jimmy, which she did. Well, here's the funny thing. At the same time, Mickey and Morgan were talking about the vote and trying to figure out who was that second vote. Obviously, they know Rachel was one of them, but who was the second one? And Morgan's like, well, I don't think it was Keanu because he's had his back against the wall for a while now. He's trying to find people to work with. I don't think he'd want to like rock the boat like that. Also, he wouldn't want to piss you off personally when we've just mended fences with him, right? They had their whole crying conversation after the veto competition where they basically blamed Jimmy for all of the bad feelings between them and Keanu. So they're like, no, he wouldn't want to like mess with that when we just fixed it. So Morgan doesn't think it's Keanu. And Morgan asks Mickey, how would you feel if it was Ashley? And Mickey's like, I wouldn't like it. But she says, I don't think it was Ashley. I don't know who it was. I can't believe Ashley is actually getting away with this. Meanwhile, Ava is up in the HOH room with Will, and they have cracked open her wine that she got in her HOH basket. They finished that whole bottle last night, the two of them, and they were lit. It was hilarious to watch. They were having a grand old time. They were giggling nonstop. They were so lit that Ava couldn't even think of Kelly's name. She was like, who's that girl? The one with the glasses? Oh my God. That's a lot. But Ava says, I never thought I would say this. But she says, I would love to see Keanu take himself off the block this week. She really wants to make sure that Zach and Vince are going to stay up on that block. She would love to drive a wedge between them. Make them have to campaign against each other, make them turn on each other. Ava and Will talked a lot about how pissed they are that Zach and Vince were trying to flip the vote against Will last week to try and keep Adrian. Also, Ava says, like, they never talk game with me. The only time they've talked game with me was to try and flip that vote. So she feels very justified in putting them up on the block. So then eventually, Mickey joins them and fun time is over. The mood definitely shifted when Mickey came in. It wasn't like jolly good drunken times anymore, but there was more talk about potential replacement nominees for this week. Before, Ava was saying maybe Catherine, but she doesn't really want to mess with the whole Catherine and Riley situation. Then she was thinking maybe Lauren, because Lauren is in with Zach and Vince, right? She's really tight with them. But Ava is worried about hurting Lauren by doing that because they are quite close. They do actually have a final two deal. Do I think that they're either of them are serious about it? No. But they do technically have a final two deal. It seemed like Ava was leaning more towards Morgan being the replacement nominee. She was even saying, like, what if I put Morgan up as one of the initial noms? I think it'd be great. Just do Morgan, Zach, and Vince. Just get them all up there. But she says if I could put her up even as a replacement, we bust up that trio. She might have to put up both, depending on what happens with the veto and with Zach's power this week. But Mickey, it's interesting. Mickey at the time didn't seem phased by the possibility of Morgan going up. I do think maybe she would have more to say about it if she knew for sure that the nominees were going to be changing. But she didn't like put up a huge fight for Morgan in the moment. So a little later, Mickey talks to Vincent Morgan, and I guess Mickey's in her rat era because she reports to them that Ava said she's going to make a big move and they're never going to see it coming. Remember when she chastised Ashley like 2 days ago, maybe even a day ago, for spilling too much information? Or when she freaking nominated her own ally, Jimmy, for playing both sides? Apparently, it's okay for Mickey to do, but nobody else. Do as she says, not as she does. But Vince starts panicking. He's like, oh my God, am I a big move? Like, I wouldn't consider myself a big move, but like, why would Ava put me up on the block? I haven't done anything to her. And he does say, like, I guess, we don't really talk game though. So there is that old chestnut. Yeah, that's kind of a problem. This is week 5, but Vince is upset. It's not fair. Other people can mess up, like Riley and Keanu, and then they can just apologize for it and it's fine. But like Vince feels like it doesn't work for him. How many times now has he tried to like make things right with Rachel? Yeah, but like he seems fake about it all the time. And also, I think Rachel can see Vince is a much bigger threat to win this whole thing than Riley or Keanu. I mean, Vince is also a much smarter player than Riley or Keanu. I think that's a big part of it. But he was definitely feeling the heat. So today, Ava was talking to Rachel again, and Ava's working on her nomination speech. So she came up with a new idea for what she'll say for Zach. So she's going to say, Sassafras, your charms may work on most of the girls in this house, but on me, you're going to have to work a little bit harder. You've been blocked. I'm getting Circle vibes. I wonder if she watches The Circle. I don't know. But yeah, she seems pretty settled now on what she's going to say for Zach. So then, moving along away from that, she's starting to practice her speech as much as Jimmy would practice his like call outs and things like that. But anyway, Ava and Rachel are talking about putting together an alliance. Yay! But Ava's asking, what are your thoughts on us making like a big majority alliance with like 7 people? We control the votes. Something with like Riley and Catherine in there. And Rachel's like, I'm going to be real with you right now. Riley lied to me twice yesterday about the vote. Because I think what she's referring to here is she had asked Riley if he would vote for Jimmy to stay, and he said yes, and then he didn't. I mean, even during the live episode when Rachel was trying to get those votes last minute, he was like, "Yeah, yeah, yeah." And then he didn't follow through. So she knows she can't trust him at this point. Oh, finally, she's waking up a little bit to Riley. But she does say she's not targeting Riley. She doesn't want to work with him, but she's not targeting him because she wants to see this showman's blossom. She wants them to have more time together. No! She needs to let that go. It's too much. They are not Rachel and Brendan. But Rachel thinks it would be a good idea for them to solidify a smaller group. The big alliance thing doesn't really work well. It doesn't usually work out. So she says, "What about the two of us, Will and Ashley?" I happen to really like that. I think that's a great group. But Ava says, as much as I love Ashley, she talks a lot, and that makes me nervous. And we saw a few days ago when Ava ratted Ashley out to Mickey. She felt like Ashley could not be trusted. She was going against the group by trying to get Jimmy to stay. So she wasn't feeling great about Ashley. Now, we also saw before the live episode on Thursday, yesterday, that Ava was talking to Will about Ashley and saying, like, I don't trust her, but if you guys do want to work with her, I'm going to trust you about that. So it doesn't seem like she has any plans or intentions on targeting Ashley at this point, but she doesn't want her to be in this new alliance with Will and Rachel. So Rachel suggests a three with just them and Will, and Ava likes that. I like it too, but like we can get Ashley in there eventually. Okay, so then Mickey and Ava had a chat today. Only a few people, again, are allowed to have one-on-ones with Ava. She is not doing conversations with everybody, which it's a bold move. It is a very bold move. I respect her, like, standing her ground and not wanting people to influence her, things like that, but also, like, might not go over well in the future. I don't know. But Mickey and Ava are chatting, and Mickey is suggesting, what about like Lauren as one of the nominees? And she's like, I know you're close with her. But Ava says, I'm not ruling her out, but more as like a renom. She doesn't want to put her up as one of the initial ones. Again, she is also kicking around the idea of putting up Morgan as the replacement. So Ava then spills to Mickey about the Bond Alliance. Remember how much of a big deal that was during Lauren's HOH? Because Lauren put up two members of the Bond Alliance. Ava says it was me, Will, Zach, Vinny, Lauren, and Adrian. And Lauren put up two members of our group. So it failed. It's donezo. It's dead. And Mickey's like, oh my God, like that makes it so much worse what she did. And Mickey had the audacity to say, wow, that was effed up of Lauren to put up two of her alliance members. That's shady. Ah! Again, I'm sorry if you're wearing headphones. I can't help it. Sometimes I scream. But girl, last week you put up your ally from your final three. Like what? But I guess it's not fully out there that Mickey was in a final three with Morgan. I believe Jimmy may have spilled that about the Triple Threat Alliance to Rachel, but I don't think that information is fully out there. Even if it was, though, again, apparently Mickey is allowed to do things that no one else is allowed to do. So Ava says this move of putting up two of Lauren's really close allies, this is for Amy and Adrian. They both got screwed over. They shouldn't have been up on that block in the first place. So Mickey says she respects it. She respects whatever Ava decides to do. And she says separating Zach and Vinny is going to be the best thing ever. You could have done it last week, week. So moving on. Vinny has been very nervous today. He's been all like, he's freaking out and he can't even go and talk to Ava because she doesn't want to hear it. So he's just been nervousing. Now, if we look at one of the other nominees, Zach, he was talking to Lauren and he seems to have no idea that he's going up on the block. He does think that Vince will be going up, but he thinks Vince is going to go up with some combination of Kelly, Ashley, and Keanu. So again, he can save himself this week with his power, but it's still going to be really fun to see this power structure just rocked to the core because they've had a pretty easy go of it so far in this game. So even just the shock of them being up on the block together, I think is going to be very enjoyable to watch. Rachel and Ashley had another chat this afternoon, and Rachel says, I know that you voted to keep Jimmy. And Ashley's just like, she doesn't know what to say at first. So then she's like, yeah, I did. So she's like, please don't tell anybody. And Rachel's like, of course not. I won't. I'm not going to tell ever. Like, you're good. It seems like Rachel and Ashley are going to be working very closely together now because they're both running out of allies. But I do think that they also work really well together. So they're cool with just like continuing to make it seem like somebody set Ashley up, like maybe Vince. Yeah. So they talk about how they're feeling good with Ava and Will. It's good vibes all around. But Ashley says not Mickey. She cannot be trusted anymore. We can't give her any more information. Yeah. I mean, Mickey's trying to play both sides now, which is exactly the problem that she had with Jimmy. So Ashley and Rachel see what Mickey is doing and they know they cannot trust her. But other than that, Ava was getting really restless, just like waiting around for these nominations, especially since she wasn't really having one-on-ones with people. The time was going a lot slower. She spent a lot of today just like refining her outfit for the ceremony, which was like this blue velvet dress with like lace trim. And I think she might be doing the feather boa. She's got the fur hat on. So she's really doing it up and she's practicing that speech. But let's get this going. I think they're actually doing the nominations right now. So if you guys want to check back later, I will post the nominees in the description for this video. And then, of course, we'll also be talking about it in tomorrow's live stream. But wow. What a difference a day makes, right? Things just change so quickly in this house. I'm trying not to get my hopes up too much yet because we've seen things can get really crazy post veto with this cast. So I'm hoping Ava will be able to keep it together and make some smart decisions this week. But it's going to be really, really interesting to see how this is going to play out. So I want to thank you all so much for watching. Special thanks to all of our amazing super chatters. Holy crap. Asher Brasfield, an angel investor in the Madrosed channel. Thank you so much. Absolutely incredible. Laura Warden, thank you so much. Also amazing. I don't know, you guys, seriously, it's very, very much appreciated. You are amazing. Connor Benson, thank you so much. Connor says, Ava, my girl, we love you. Yay, never dissed. Hopefully Keanu can find safety this week. I'm softening on him and Kelly. Same. I feel a lot better about them now than I did before. I would love to see Keanu win the veto this week. Absolutely. Watch this be the one week that he can't pull it out, but hopefully he will. By the way, did anyone know Leah from BB26 and Evil Dick are beefing? Random, right? Are they? I thought I saw something about that on Twitter and I saw the name Leah pop up. I did not realize it was Leah from last season. I just thought it was like like a person who does like BB commentating or whatever, like this. But I didn't realize it was Leah from last season. Wow. I don't know what that's about, but okay. I literally just saw it like 5 minutes before the stream, but interesting. Thank you again to Connor. And Shane Wright, thank you so much for the super chat. We appreciate you as always. All right. So I hope you all have a wonderful Friday evening. I will see you all tomorrow. Oh, and Catherine B is here. Happy birthday tomorrow to Catherine. Everyone wish her a happy birthday. Yes. All right. So thank you so much. I'll see you tomorrow. And until next time, much love. Bye, everybody. Bye.